Hey everyone, welcome back. For this video, I'm going to be looking at the psychological impact of domestic violence as well as some coping strategies for victims as well as survivors of domestic violence. In case this is the first video that you're clicking on, my name is Sasha Baldeosingh and I'm a mental health clinical therapist here to talk to you about domestic violence. If you haven't already, be sure to check out the first 3 videos where I talk about different aspects of domestic violence.
First, let's talk about some of the psychological impacts of domestic violence. So, the victims of domestic violence can experience hopelessness, helplessness. They can experience low self-esteem. They may start to blame themselves or feel as if they deserve the abuse. Many times, victims have symptoms of depression or anxiety that can impact their daily functioning in life. Survivors of domestic abuse or individuals who have experienced abusive situations but are no longer in the domestic violence relationship, they might experience symptoms of depression and anxiety as well. They may also display symptoms of post-traumatic stress, including intrusive memories of the abuse, sleep disturbances, flashbacks, avoidance of cues or stimuli that may remind them of the abuse. They may experience interpersonal relationship struggles, negative emotional states, hypervigilance, or even self-destructive behaviors. If there are children involved in the domestic violence situation, the children can also experience psychological impacts. This can include feeling confused or stressed about the abuse. They may feel fearful or feel guilty or shameful about the abuse. They may experience anxiety or depressed feelings. Older children can also show regressive behaviors such as bedwetting or thumb sucking. They may also show some physical symptoms such as stomach aches or headaches. Teenagers may feel stressed or worried about their family and their own future. These kids may have anger issues or they may show academic struggles. So there are many different ways a survivor of domestic violence can cope or get help if they're experiencing any negative reactions from the abuse. However, if a person is actively being abused, it is important to seek professional help and guidance on how to cope with that situation, since it can be a highly tricky situation and there can be different risks that are involved. There's a lot of emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual preparation in managing abusive relationships, and whether an individual decides to stay in a relationship or leave, there are many phases and evaluation of the risk that has to be done in order to keep the individual or any children who might be involved safe and healthy. For survivors or individuals who are out of abusive situations and may be experiencing symptoms of post-traumatic stress, one important way to cope is finding support, whether it be from family or friends, or just individuals who have had similar situations. Having that connection and emotional support is highly important in that healing process. Another important way of managing and healing is to speak to a professional and develop a treatment plan or a treatment journey. It is important to remember that abuse can leave many internal wounds, no matter the type of abuse experienced. Think of it this way. If you neglect a physical wound, never clean it or address it or watch for infections, it can lead to serious complications and a lot of extra pain. However, it is harder to think of an internal wound like this since it's not visible externally. However, abusive relations can create these wounds that need to be cared for in order for it to heal. There are many different ways to start this journey of healing, which is why it is recommended to talk to a professional to help figure out what works for the individual. However, some examples might be writing the story of the abuse or journaling the emotions, meditation, exercise, support groups. Many times it is a combination of these things, or a combination of techniques that help people who have experienced abuse to find their way of healing and grow from the trauma experienced. Connecting with individuals for support is again very important. You do not have to stay silent about the abuse, because silence only protects the abusers, and we all need to change our mindset to start protecting victims. So talk about it and find people you can trust and talk about it. For those of us who might know someone who is a victim of abuse or suspect that they might be a victim of abuse, something you can do is just ask them. Ask them if they're alright, or tell them you've been worried about them. Listen without trying to solve or without giving advice. Because as I mentioned before, being in an abusive relationship can be a highly risky and dangerous situation. And leaving that relationship is not easy and can be dangerous. What you can do is help them get help from professionals. But all in all, it is in their hands. If they don't want to talk, do not pressure them. However, it is important you let them know that you are there for support. You can help them by providing them with information on where they can get help. Reassure them that it is not their fault. Let them know that you hear them and you believe them, which can greatly help them take the steps towards a healthier and safer life. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and remember to check out the other videos in this series on domestic violence. Alright, bye.